actually really started doing core strength on my own. I myself had a back injury and didn't have enough strength in my body to take the strength that I had for my legs from another sport to transfer that to rowing. So for my first year of rowing, I actually started going to the training room and started with very simple ball exercises, which today I think are so easy, but when I first started, I could barely sit on a ball and lift up one leg. By doing core strength in my regular workouts, I don't get injured half as often. I definitely have a flare-up every now and then, and it doesn't make it so that you can never get injured, but on a whole, I have reduced my amount of injury significantly. I think that for everyone, if they do core strength and stability, it will have lasting impacts, especially on their rate of injury. But the key is that once you start, you can never stop. It's not something that will, once you do it for a year and then if you stop, it does go away. So it's an essential part of every practice. You can go out and row for 2 hours, and without taking the 15 to 20 minutes to do some extra core, I think many people are really missing out. By just taking a little bit of time each day to do a few different core exercises, you can really build up strength in your core that helps you maintain the connection between the strength of your legs and the grip you have on the handle.
Hi, my name is Zach Weatherford. I'm a strength and conditioning specialist who's worked with many different sports. One team that I had the pleasure of working with is the women's rowing team. Prior to 2004 Olympic Games, the head women's rowing coach came to me and asked me to put together a core strengthening program. He asked me to focus on injury prevention as well as performance enhancement. And the critical aspect of that was core stabilization. We sat down, organized a plan throughout the year, and implemented it. What is core? The core links the upper body to the lower body. To start off with, we're talking about the lumbo-pelvic hip complex. Obviously, we're talking about the pelvis, the lumbar, and the hip area. This is the center of the body. When we discuss muscles of that area, we're talking about the muscles of the hip, the abdomen, the low back, and thoracic spine. In this core strengthening program, we're going to train movements: flexion, extension, rotation, and stabilization. Flexion, we're talking about abdominal exercises such as sit-ups. In extension, we're talking about back exercises such as back extension. In rotation, we're talking about trunk twisting such as Russian twist. In stabilization, which is not a movement but more an isometric. Stabilization is the sport-specific component to core strength and rowing. During this exercise, we're talking about push-up bridges or physio ball bridges. The goals of the core strengthening program is to increase core muscular endurance as well as core stabilization. This will help prevent injuries as well as maintain solid rowing technique. If you can prevent injuries and keep athletes training, you'll hopefully win a championship. Now let's take a look at the core strengthening exercises. We have many different exercises that can be done. Not one exercise is better than the other. They just add a lot of variety to the training. We're going to start off with the flexion exercises, move to the extension, rotation, and then on to the stabilization exercises. Within each core movement, we'll show you beginner, intermediate, and advanced exercises. The critical aspect to all of these exercises is maintaining good technique. Don't rush through these exercises. Really focus on what's the critical aspect of each exercise. Once we're done showing you all of the exercises, we'll then discuss the workout and how you can put together a workout yourself. Whether you're a coach or an athlete, should be pretty self-explanatory on a step-by-step process of how to put all of these exercises together and get the most out of this program. Crunches. During the abdominal crunch, you want to instruct the athlete to make sure they maintain a good flat back. During this exercise, they want to try to push their belly button through their spine. There's other variations that can be used, as well as crossing the arms in front, fingertips on the ears, or again, back to hands flat on the ground. Nice controlled movement is critical during this exercise. Really focus the movement in the abdominals, crunching up as far as possible. Alternating crunch is also an excellent variation. The athlete comes up into a full crunch position and alternates from side to side. Other variations of this exercise might be toe touches, feet straight up in the air, and touching the toes. You can move to a variation of alternating toe touches. Again, all of these are good variations to break up the monotony of the exercise. Knees at 90 degrees, fingertips on the ears, hands flat. Many different variations of this exercise can be executed. Weight can also be used during this exercise. Feet flat on the ground. Hold the weight like a steering wheel. Cradle in the chest and crunching up. Other variations of the weighted exercise might be toe touches. Feet up, trying to touch the weight to the toes. You can also position the weight behind the head as well. If doing this, ensure that you don't put too much pressure on the neck. Another variation of the crunch is the side crunch. This is an excellent exercise to train the obliques. The athlete lays on their side, fingertips on the ear, and crunches up as far as possible. Variations of the crunch exercise can be incorporated with using a box or a bench. Place a box at the athlete's feet and having them rest their heels on the box. Again, knees at 90 degrees, hands flat, crunching up. Physio ball can also be used during the crunch exercise. Just like the box or the bench, roll the physio ball underneath the athlete's feet, have them rest their heels on the physio ball, and perform the exercise. Bicycle crunch. To perform this exercise, the athlete will place fingertips on the ears, extend one leg out, bring one knee at 90 degrees, bring opposite elbow to opposite knee, and cycle through. Variations of this exercise can be incorporated with super slow technique. The athlete is moving really slow. This is an excellent crunch exercise while incorporating rotation in the movement. Another technique can be used alternating bicycles, where you leave one knee up and really focus that crunch to the opposite knee. Sit-ups. During the sit-up exercise, the athlete will lay down, hands flat to the side, feet flat on the ground, anchored by another athlete or underneath a bench, knees at 90 degrees. Instruct the athlete to slowly and in controlled movement come up into a full sit-up position, keeping the hands flat in the ground. Slowly descend, back up. Variations of these exercises, the athlete can cross arms in front of the chest, perform the same exercise. As well as fingertips on the ears. Twisting can also be incorporated in this exercise by instructing the athlete to twist at the top of the motion. Weight can also be added by handing the athlete a plate, hold it in the chest like a steering wheel, elbows to the side. Again, controlled movement is critical during this exercise. Placing the weight behind the neck is also a good method. Just ensure that the athlete does not pull too much onto the head. When selecting the proper size of the physio-ball for the athlete, it's important that you make sure that the knees are at least at 90 degrees. As the athlete rolls down on the physio-ball, the lower back to upper back should be supported. Arms are crossed in front of the body, and they perform a controlled movement up as well as down, really focusing the movement in the abs. Other variations can be incorporated with fingertips on the ears, as well as a balance exercise where one leg is lifted off the ground. This obviously makes the exercise a little more difficult. Weight can also be added to the exercise. Holding the weight like a steering wheel in front of the chest and crunching up. This is a very small movement, but it's a very good movement in focusing the movement strictly in the abs. Lying knee-ups. During this exercise, the athlete will lie down again with hands anchored at their head, feet straight out in front of them. They'll pull their knees to their chest and roll their hips up. Kick back out, knees into chest, back out. Feet should never touch the ground during this exercise. Really focusing the movement in the abdominals. Pulling the knees up by using the abs. Knee hugs or scullers. Have the athlete come up into full sit-up position, hands out, knees close to the chest, and begin the exercise. They extend the knees out while coming down into a bottom of a sit-up position and bring the upper body and knees together. Physio ball sit-up. This exercise is performed just like the physio ball crunch, but a full sit-up is done on the physio ball. Again, instruct the athlete to come down in the crunch position, form a full sit-up. Hands on the ears. Other variations, the arms crossed in front of the body. Tempo is very good at this exercise as well. The 3 count up, 3, 2, 1, down. Weight can also be used in this exercise. Just like in the crunch, you hold the weight chest, all the way down, all the way up. What's good about using the physio ball is it allows the athlete to really get a good stretch of the abdominals. Really work through the range of motion while supporting the lower back. Physio ball V-up. During this exercise, instruct the athlete to come behind the physio ball on their knees, roll out into a push-up position, supporting the knees, and instruct the athlete to lift the hips as high as possible. Really focus the movement again in the abdominals. Lift the hips as high as possible, pause at the top, and then back down. It's also important that the athlete does not hyperextend the lower back as they come down in the bottom position. Physio ball knee-ups. Just like the physio ball V-up, instruct the athlete to come behind the physio ball, roll out on the physio ball in the push-up position, supporting the shins. Instruct the athlete to pull the knees in as far as possible, and then back out. It's important to try to keep the hips down as low as possible, really contract the abs, and pull the knees into the chest. A variation of this exercise can be done, a more advanced exercise, by lifting a leg and pulling the knee into the chest. What you do to one side should do to the other. Roman chair sit-ups. Instruct the athlete to sit on the Roman chair. Make sure that they can brace their feet, hands crossed in front of them, extend down and back up. Focus the movement in the abdominals. It's important that the athlete does not go too far down. The upper body should just come parallel with the ground. Other variations might be where the athlete has fingertips on the ears, as well as twisting, alternating from side to side. Weight can also be used for this exercise. Instruct the athlete to hold the weight in front of their chest, perform the same movement as the sit-up. Another variation of the exercise, the athlete can move one foot out from the support. This obviously makes the exercise a little more difficult, a little unbalanced. This is a much more advanced exercise. Lying leg lifts. Instruct the athlete to lie down and anchor their hands. Legs should be completely extended. The movement of the exercise is raise the feet as high as possible. Control the movement as it comes up and goes down. The feet should come to about 2 to 3 inches off the ground. Variations of this exercise can be incorporated with a medicine ball. Place a medicine ball between the athlete's feet and have them conduct the exercise. This obviously is a more advanced exercise with resistance. Alternating hanging knee up. This is a variation of the knee up. Again, using the same apparatus to hang from, the athlete will alternate by pulling one knee up and the opposite knee. You cycle through for the desired number of repetitions. V-up exercise. During this exercise, the athlete will extend the arms above the head. Legs are extended straight out. The athlete will bring the upper body and lower body together and meet in the middle. Again, this is an excellent exercise for training the core, the flexion movement. Other variations can be incorporated in this exercise by alternating. Opposite hand, opposite foot. Weight can be used during this exercise by having the athlete hold a medicine ball or a plate above their head and execute the movement. Remember to maintain good, controlled movements. Hanging V-ups. This is performed just like the knee up, but with legs straight. The athlete's going to try to pull the legs up as far as possible. Again, emphasize a slow, controlled movement to prevent the athlete from swaying back and forth. Assistance by putting your hand at the small of the back to keep them from moving back and forth is a good technique as well. Another variation of the hanging V-up would be the hanging alternating V-up. This is performed just like the alternating knee-up, but with a straight leg. Again, emphasize controlled, slow movements to prevent the swinging. Really focus the movement in the abdominals. Weighted hanging knee-ups with a medicine ball. As the athlete performs the hanging knee-up, you'll place a medicine ball between the athlete's feet. Again, emphasize a controlled movement by pulling the knees to the chest. Medicine ball sit-up throw. The athlete will do a sit-up on the Roman chair. Now we incorporate a medicine ball throw to this exercise. You can throw the ball from side to side. To incorporate a little bit more of a dynamic motion. Physio ball sit-up with a medicine ball throw. This exercise is done just like a sit-up. Now we're going to incorporate a medicine ball throw with this exercise. The athlete might have to sit a little bit forward on the physio ball as you throw the medicine ball towards them. Toss the ball just above the head, and they use the momentum of the sit-up to throw the ball back. Good. Leg throws. During this exercise, the athlete will perform a leg lift. As they bring the legs up, the other athlete will throw the legs to the ground. Variations of this exercise can be done by throwing the legs from side to side. This is a great eccentric exercise in that the athlete that's doing the leg lifts has to stop the momentum of the legs going down. Lying back extension. During this exercise, instruct the athlete to lay down on a mat. They extend their arms above their head, feet straight out. In a controlled movement, instruct the athlete to raise upper body and lower body together. Hold for a count, control the movement down. Tempo is important during this exercise. As the athlete comes up, nice controlled movement up, controlled movement down. Really focus the movement in the lower portion of the back, contracting the lower back. Other variations can be incorporated, such as alternating lying back extension, where the athlete lifts opposite leg, opposite arm at the same time. During lying back extension, weight can also be used by having the athlete hold a medicine ball or a plate with their hands and raising up. This exercise can also be done as an isometric. Instruct the athlete to raise up and hold the position. Back extension on a Roman chair. Instruct the athlete to get onto the Roman chair Make sure that the hips are just over the front of the Roman chair. Make sure the feet are supported. Back is in a parallel position with the ground. Slowly descend, crossing the arms in front of the body. As the athlete comes up, make sure that they're not doing a hyperextension. Good controlled movement. Variations of this exercise can be incorporated with putting fingertips on the ears, as well as adding a twist at the top of the movement. Back extension twist on a Roman chair. This exercise is performed just like the back extension, but with a twist at the top of the movement. This is also a stabilization as well as a rotational movement. Instruct the athlete to get on the Roman chair. Again, hips over the end of the bench. They're going to come up into a parallel position with the ground, back flat. It's important that they do not hyperextend. Instruct the athlete to rotate. This exercise can also be done with weight. The athlete will cradle the weight in the chest and rotate from side to side. Reverse back extension. Using a Roman chair, instruct the athlete to lay down on the Roman chair in the opposite direction that you would do a back extension. Make sure that the hips are off of the pad in front of the Roman chair. Hold on tightly to the bars in front, keeping the knees straight. Extend the lower body. Make sure that the back does not perform a hyperextension. Back should be flat while the legs are raising up. Good control movement is critical in this exercise. Really squeeze in the lower back during the movement. Weight can also be used with this exercise by placing a medicine ball between the feet. This is obviously a more advanced exercise. Standing back extension are also known as good mornings. Have the athlete stand, feet shoulder width apart, fingertips on the ears, and perform the extension by slowly descending, making sure you keep a good flat back, slight bend in the knee. The athlete should feel a good stretch in the hamstrings as well as the lower back. Nice controlled movement. If the athlete begins to round the back, you should stop the exercise immediately and instruct the athlete to maintain a flat back throughout the movement. Weight can also be used during this exercise by holding it down in front of the body, or hold it behind the head. Again, the critical part of this exercise is to make sure the athlete maintains a flat back with a slight bend in the knee. Physio ball back extension. Have the athlete roll out on the physio ball just like in the physio ball V-up. With this exercise, the athlete will need to be supported by another athlete. To make sure that the hips are in the center of the ball. Cross the arms in front of the body. Perform the exercise by rolling down, good roll in the back, and up. Make sure that you do not hyperextend the lower back. Really focus the movement in the lower back. Variations of this exercise can be done with fingertips on the ears, as well as performing a twist at the top of the movement. Weight can also be used with this exercise. Handing weight to the athlete and have them put the weight behind the head or on the upper back. During this exercise, if you do not have another athlete to assist, pushing your feet against the wall will help to anchor your feet into the wall so you do not roll off the physio ball. Weighted back extensions on a Roman chair. The exercise is done exactly like the back extension, but with weight. The athlete will take the weight, cradle in the chest, raise to a parallel position, and back down. Weight can be put behind the head and done in this fashion as well. Just be careful not to load the weight too much in the back. Could put pressure on the neck. Back extension with a medicine ball throw. The athlete will perform a back extension, so I will roll the ball to the athlete. They will pick it up, toss it back. Back extension with a medicine ball throw. Have the athlete perform a back extension and will toss the medicine ball in the up position. They will perform the exercise and toss it back. Lying back extension with a medicine ball roll. During this exercise, the athlete will perform a lying back extension. Then we will roll them a medicine ball. Roll the medicine ball to the athlete, they raise it up, throw it back. You can increase the intensity by either stepping back, forcing them to throw a little bit further, or throw a little bit higher. Seated Russian twist. Instruct the athlete to sit on the ground. In the up sit-up position, instruct the athlete to come down to a 45-degree angle, feet up off the ground, fingertips on the ears, and rotate from side to side. This is an excellent rotational exercise while contracting the abdominals. Weight can also be used with this exercise. Again, holding the weight like a steering wheel in front of the chest. Good rotation from side to side. Plate trunk twist. Have the athlete sit on a bench or a box. Hold the plate like a steering wheel in front of the chest. They will rotate from side to side. This is a great flexibility exercise for the core. Make sure that they sit up straight and have good rotation from side to side. Lying knee twist. Instruct the athlete to lie down and anchor their upper body. Bring the knees to 90 degrees and twist from side to side. Good rotation of the trunk is the key to this exercise. Making sure that the back does not lift off the ground too much. A more advanced exercise is extending the knees and twisting from side to side. Again, trying to keep the back flat on the ground. And focus rotation on the trunk. Weight can be added during this exercise by placing a medicine ball between the feet. Russian twist on a Roman chair. Instruct the athlete to sit on the Roman chair. Again, just like doing the sit-up, make sure the feet are supported. Hips are just back off the end of the bench. Make sure fingertips are on the ears. They're going to come down to about a 45-degree angle. Hold that position and rotate from side to side. This is a good rotational exercise. Good stability with rotation. You can make this exercise a little more difficult by instructing the athlete to come a little bit further down, parallel with the ground, and twist. Good controlled movement. Have the athlete sit on a physio ball while holding a plate. They'll hold the plate like a steering wheel and rotate from side to side. Again, this is a very good rotational exercise, but incorporates a bit of balance. Other variations of this exercise might be lifting a foot off the ground while doing the exercise. Medicine ball trunk twist throw. Just like the plate trunk twist, the athlete will twist, but you will incorporate a medicine ball throw during this exercise. Stand to the side, you'll toss the medicine ball, the athlete will twist and throw it back. Good rotation is critical during this exercise. What you do to one side, you should do to the other. Physio ball Russian twist with a medicine ball throw. Have the athlete sit on the physio ball, but also have a second athlete anchor their feet by either standing on their feet or holding it with their hands. As they come down into the Russian twist start position, you'll throw a medicine ball and they'll toss it back. Emphasize rotation of the trunk. Excellent. What you do to one side should be done to the other. As the athlete comes down, toss the ball, you rotate, use the momentum to throw the ball back. Leg lift with a twist. Have the athlete perform a leg lift and then add a twist at the top of that movement. They perform the leg lift with the twist on either side and back down to the start. Variation of the seated Russian twist can be used with a medicine ball. Again, the athlete will perform the seated Russian twist, but then you will throw them the medicine ball. Feet off the ground, toss the ball, they will rotate and toss back. You can toss the ball to the side, toss it high.
Above my head.
That's good.
Sorry.
Knee up with a twist. Have the athlete perform a knee up and then add a knee twist to that exercise. Medicine ball trunk twist while sitting on a physio ball. The athlete will perform a trunk twist, Then we'll throw a medicine ball towards the athlete. Good rotation is critical for this exercise. What you do on one side, you should do to the other. Weighted Russian twist. Again, just like the Russian twist on the Roman chair, the athlete will come down to about a 45-degree angle, hold the weight at the chest, and rotate from side to side. Russian twist with the medicine ball throw. The athlete's going to perform the Russian twist. Now we're going to incorporate the medicine ball in the exercise. Instruct the athlete to come down into the start position, toss the ball. You're going to rotate, throw the ball back. You want to perform the exercise both sides. Again, instruct the athlete to come down the Russian twist position, tossing the ball. Back extension twist with a medicine ball throw. The athlete will perform a back extension twist, but with a medicine ball toss involved. Back extension twist with a medicine ball throw should be done on both sides. Hanging knee twist. This is another variation of the knee up, but now you're going to add rotation to the trunk. Pull the knees as high as you can, stabilize that position, and instruct the athlete to twist from side to side. Push-up stabilization. Instruct the athlete to go into a push-up position. The critical aspect of this exercise is to make sure that the athlete maintains a good, flat back. Some key things that you can tell the athletes is to make sure that they contract the abdominals and push the belly button through the spine. This is critical for the exercise. This really works on good stabilization of the core. Some other good aspects of this exercise is the stabilization of the shoulder girdle. During this exercise, the athlete will actually not move. This is an isometric and should be done for a certain amount of time. Variations of this exercise can be incorporated by lifting one foot off the ground and holding that position while trying to also maintain a good flat back. You should alternate those legs by dropping the leg back down and lifting the opposite leg. Push-up stabilization using the medicine ball. During this exercise, the athlete will perform the push-up stabilization, but then put their feet on a medicine ball. This adds instability to the exercise, creates the exercise as a balance. Again, good flat back is critical for this exercise, making sure that the abdominals are contracted and the belly button is pushing through back towards the spine. Stabilization while resting on elbows and toes. Instruct the athlete to come out into a push-up position and then move to the elbows, resting the weight, the upper body, on the elbows. Again, a critical aspect of this exercise is to make sure the back is good and flat. Emphasize contracting the abdominals and pushing the belly button through the spine. Just like in the push-up variation of the stabilization, legs can be lifted during this exercise. Hold that position for a desired amount of time and alternate. This is a great exercise that emphasizes stabilization of the core. Again, the critical aspect of this is to make sure a good flat back is created. Stabilization on elbows and toes with the medicine ball. Just like in the push-up stabilization with the medicine ball, the athlete will perform elbows and toes stabilization, a good flat back. Now we'll move to putting their feet on the medicine ball. Again, this adds instability to the exercise and creates a balance exercise. Really emphasize a good flat back. Roller abdominals stabilization. The athletes will rest on their knees using a bar with 2 plates that you can find from any weight room. Have the athlete hold on to the bar with a good flat back, extend out by rolling the plate in front of them and pulling backwards. Emphasize good controlled movement with a good flat back. As they advance in this exercise, you can instruct them to push the weight out as far as possible. Push-up stabilization with the physio ball. Instruct the athlete to roll out onto the physio ball into a push-up position. The ankles and feet should be supported in this exercise. This is an isometric exercise and should be done for a desired amount of time. During this exercise, it's important that the athlete maintains a good flat back. This is the key to the exercise. Contraction of the abdominals with the belly button pushing through the spine is critical. During this exercise, many variations can be used. A more advanced exercise might be to lift the foot off the physio ball. Alternate to both sides and hold for anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. Another variation might be to pull a knee into the chest while leaving the physio ball. It is critical to make sure that the back continues to stay flat. As they get fatigued, you'll start to see more and more hyperextension of the lower back. Physio ball bridge, the supine position. Instruct the athlete to sit on the physio ball and roll out into a bridge where the upper back is supported. During this exercise, anterior tilt of the pelvis is critical. Start with a normal position. Now, what you want to instruct the athlete to do is to take the belly button and push it through the lower back. This, you should be able to feel a contraction of the abdominals and really flatten the lower back. Variations of this exercise can be incorporated by raising knees up and alternating that. This adds instability to the exercise, forces the athlete to focus on controlling the movement. Continue to watch and make sure they are pushing their belly button through or contracting the abs. Other variations might be to extend the knee, as well as extend the knee and hold that position for a period of time. Hanging knee up hold. This is a stabilization exercise, a variation of the knee up, hanging knee ups. Instruct the athlete to bring the thighs parallel with the ground and hold the position for a desired amount of time. A variation of the hanging knee up hold is the hanging alternating knee up hold. Exercises performed just like the hanging knee up hold, but with just one leg. Athlete will hold it for amount of time and then switch. This is a great exercise that will help for stabilization of the abdominals as well as the hip flexors. Four-way trunk. During this exercise, we'll conduct both a stabilization as well as a dynamic motion. First exercise, the athlete will do a back extension. For the stabilization portion of the exercise, the athlete will hold the back extension position. The next exercise, the athlete will come up and do a sit-up on the Roman chair. Again, holding the stabilization. And now move to the side crunch. It's critical that the top leg is in front of the body. This helps the athlete maintain that good side position, get a good stretch, and crunch up. For the holding portion of the exercise, they will hold in a parallel position with the ground. What you do on one side, must do on the other. Again, emphasize good flexibility in the bottom, good stretch, crunch up, and hold it for the stabilization portion of the exercise. During the push-up stabilization, you'll place several pennies on the ground in front of them. Maintaining a good flat back, instruct the athlete to reach out, grab a penny, and stack it in front of them. Alternate hands during this process. It's important in this exercise that the feet don't move or the opposite hand. This is also a balance exercise and forces the athlete to stabilize while reaching for the penny. Stacking the pennies. Once the athlete has stacked the pennies, they are done with the exercise. Good. Sit-up stabilization on the Roman chair with a medicine ball throw. Instruct the athlete to go down to the bottom of the sit-up position. Then I will throw the medicine ball, toss it back. Again, variation, throwing the ball from side to side. Back extension stabilization with the medicine ball throw. Have the athlete do a back extension stabilization. You will toss the medicine ball to them. They will stabilize in this position, toss it from side to side. It's important in this exercise the athlete does not do a hyperextension. It keeps a good flat back. The back is parallel with the ground. Straight leg hanging hold. This exercise is performed just like the knee up hold, but with legs straight. Instruct the athlete to pull it up as high as they can and hold the exercise. Star stabilization. Instruct the athlete to perform a push-up stabilization. Again, it's critical to maintain a good flat back. From this position, the athlete will move over onto one hand and one foot. Raise the arm and the leg. This is a great stabilization exercise for the core that adds a lot of instability. Physio-ball balance. This is an advanced balance exercise where the athlete tries to balance on their stomach without touching their hands or their feet to the ground. A nice soft grass is critical for this exercise. Don't attempt this on concrete. Next movement in this exercise is try to have the athlete come up to their knees on the physio ball. Again, working the knees and the upper body to roll up onto the ball. Good upright position. From this position, you can throw medicine balls or have the athlete twist. The next, more advanced part of this exercise is to actually have the athlete stand on the physio ball. This is difficult and should only be done by an experienced athlete. Foot underneath the body. Find a good balance point. Take your time. Slowly, slowly, slowly start to stand. Again, from this position, you can toss medicine balls to the athlete, create instability in the exercise. To do this on the grass allows for the physio ball not to move. Good job. Now the workout and how to put the workout together. Whether you're an athlete or coach, shouldn't be a problem as long as you follow a few guidelines. The idea with the core strengthening program is to set the tone early with consistency as well as hard work, and slowly advance throughout a year from beginner to advanced. It's really up to the philosophy of the coach as well as the athlete as to when you want to do the workout. I've had great success with doing these workouts prior to a strength workout. I will advise though, if you are going to put it on a rowing day, you should probably do it after a rowing workout. If you do want to do it before a rowing workout, I'd also advise that you do minimal exercises. Use it as a warm-up, not truly as a workout. There are 4 phases that we'll follow. First phase is the general preparatory period. Second phase is the preparatory period. Third phase is the specific preparatory period. And the last phase is the competition period. During the general prep period, we really focus on muscular endurance and really only focus on the 3 movements of the trunk, which is flexion, extension, and rotation. As we progress to the preparatory period, we'll do very similar exercises to the general preparatory period, but we'll include external load or weight. During the specific preparatory period, we'll focus more on the stabilization of the core. And lastly, during the competition period, we'll focus on maintaining what we've done throughout the year. Now we'll go into more specifics of what to do for each of these periods. General preparatory period. This is an 8 to 12 week program with workouts 2 to 3 days per week. This is the base training for the core strengthening program. The goal of the program is to increase muscular endurance. The program should be broken up into 4-week cycles. Movement should include flexion, extension, and trunk twisting. 1 to 2 exercises should be selected from the list of exercises. A volume of 20 to 30 repetitions for flexion in 2 to 4 sets, as well as 10 to 20 repetitions for both extension and trunk twisting, 2 to 4 sets per exercise. In the first week of the first cycle, start with the lowest amount of repetitions and increase to the highest amount of repetitions over the 4-week cycle. Increasing by 2 repetitions per week is ideal. The goal of the preparatory period is again to increase muscular endurance, but also add resistance to the exercises. This also is an 8 to 12 week program, but we're going to increase the days from 2 to 3 days to 3 to 4 days per week. Again, you focus on the movements of the core, flexion, extension, and trunk twisting, but with resistance. Drop the repetitions back down. For flexion, 20 to 30 repetitions per set. Extension, 10 to 20 repetitions per set. Trunk twisting, 10 to 20 repetitions per set. Anywhere from 2 to 4 sets per exercise should be executed. Specific preparatory period. The goal of this period is core stabilization. This is the heart of the core strengthening program. This is also an 8 to 12 week program, but we're going to increase the amount of workouts that we do per week from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. We're still going to focus on the 3 different movements, flexion, extension, and trunk twisting. Now we're going to add the stabilization exercises. Within the stabilization exercises, we'll do 2 to 4 sets of anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds or even more. Obviously, you start with 30 seconds and progress to greater amount of time for the exercises. During the competitive period, it's important to reduce the volume of activity. Performance on the water is critical. The goal of this period is to maintain the muscular endurance as well as the core strength and stabilization that has occurred. Volume should decrease significantly. 2 to 3 days per week, sets and reps much lower than the previous period. Flexion, extension, trunk twisting, as well as stabilization should be used. If you want more in samples of these workouts, you can find those in the bonus material of this DVD. This will include exercises as well as sets and reps and how many days per week. We hope the Core Strengthening DVD has helped you to understand what core strength is and how to train it. Remember, there are a lot of things that you can do. A variety of different exercises, flexion, extension, trunk twisting, and stabilization. The key to the program is consistency and hard work. What you put into it is what you get out of it. Whether your goal is to become an Olympian or just increase fitness, we hope this DVD was helpful in understanding core strength and how it can assist in preventing injuries as well as improve rowing technique. Good luck and have fun.